Level 0. Yes, this is you. The one currently thinking that the job of a host is just standing on stage, smiling beautifully and reading jokes from a piece of paper to the applause of the crowd. You think this is the easiest job in the world, where people get huge money just for knowing how to speak. But let me instantly turn off your imaginary spotlight. The event hosting industry, the life of an MC, is a meat grinder for the human psyche. This is a profession where you have no right to a bad mood, where your voice is your only survival tool, and one bad comment can destroy your career in 5 seconds. This place is ruled by burnout, fake smiles, and brutal competition. Fasten your seatbelt. We are stepping onto the stage to show you how much the attention of the crowd really costs. Level 1. Street promoter. This is the lowest entry barrier. Your stage is a dusty sidewalk in front of a cheap car dealership. Financially, you are at the very bottom. You get $10 to $15 an hour. Sensorily, your life is constant physical exhaustion. Your vocal cords burn from shouting into a cheap, screeching megaphone for 8 hours straight. Your face is windburned, and your legs ache from standing on hard asphalt. From the outside, people treat you with annoyance, avoiding you like a pesky fly. You are living spam. But your social value is direct sales. You bring customers to small businesses. If a crowd of teenagers started openly mocking your ridiculous hot dog costume, would you swallow your pride for $10 an hour? Or take off the suit and walk away? Historical detail. The term C originated in the Catholic Church in the 5th century for officials overseeing rituals. From the street dust we move into the smoke-filled twilight. Level 2. Pub quiz host or club MC. Your career has gone up. You work in pubs, host trivia nights, or hype up the crowd in nightclubs. The salary for the evening ranges from $50 to $150. Sensorily, you are immersed in an atmosphere of chaos. You feel the floor, sticky from spilled beer, and inhale the thick smell of alcohol and cheap perfume. The bass from the speakers hits right in your chest, causing mild tachycardia. Your main problem is the drunk and unpredictable crowd trying to snatch the mic. Society considers you just a party animal, but your real benefit is creating a safe social environment for tired clerks to blow off steam. What would you choose? A quiet office for a stable salary, or calming down drunk bikers in a bar every Friday for an intellectual game? History. The first club MCs in 1950s Jamaica shouted rhyming phrases to keep the crowd engaged. Level 3. Children's party entertainer. You put on a superhero or pirate costume and go to birthday parties in wealthy suburbs. Financially, this can be lucrative. $200 to $300 per morning gig. Sensorily, this is absolute hell for your nervous system. You sweat profusely inside a synthetic Spider-Man suit in 90-degree heat. Your ears ring from the relentless, ultrasonic screaming of 20 hyperactive kids. You get hit with plastic swords while parents film it on their phones, demanding perfection. You feel total emotional exhaustion, but your social value is pure magic. Toutes ces kids. You are their dream hero come to life. Could you genuinely smile for 2 hours knowing you feel empty inside? Stat. Children's entertainers suffer physical injuries 3 times more often than dramatic actors. From children's tears, we move to tears of joy and alcohol-fueled drama. Level 4. Wedding MC. You have become a professional in a tuxedo. The salary for a single American wedding starts at $1,000 and can reach $4,000. Sensorily, you are in the epicenter of aesthetics, flowers, crystal, and camera flashes. But your brain works like a supercomputer. You memorize 50 names, smooth over conflicts between divorced parents, and take the mic from a drunk uncle who decided to tell an inappropriate story. You are the conductor of the most expensive day in 2 people's lives. No margin for error. From the outside, you seem like a carefree jokester, but your value is hardcore crisis management. You save weddings from turning into disasters. If the guitarist forgot the food, could you improvise for half an hour? Myth. Clinking glasses wasn't for romance, but to scare evil spirits away in the Middle Ages. While we tune the microphone, it's time for an important interaction. The YouTube algorithm works like a capricious client. It only pays those who hold the room. If you don't leave a comment and hit subscribe, the system thinks our show flopped and drops the curtain forever. Get a round of applause right now. Hit subscribe. And write in the comments, what corporate event would you refuse to host? We raise the stakes and move on to people in business suits. Level 5. Corporate event host. This is the clean money. You host tech giant events and moderate business panels. In Silicon Valley, your fee for a single evening can reach $15,000. Sensorily, you are in a sterile conference room with a cold light of spotlights. You smell the aroma of expensive coffee and hear the rustle of presentations. But this is boring. You read legally vetted texts from a teleprompter, terrified of a mistake. society considers such hosts to be boring suits. But your social value is being the face of the brand. You sell trust to investors. Knowing the product is buggy, would you convincingly lie for your 5-figure fee? Stat: 73% of people suffer from glossophobia, the fear of public speaking. Level 6. Arena announcer. You are the voice of sports. Your arena is stadiums holding 50,000 people. A major league announcer makes up to $150,000 a year. Sensorily, this is an absolute drug. When you say "let's get ready to rumble" into the mic, you feel the vibration from the screams of fans shaking the concrete floor. Your palms sweat from adrenaline. You control the crowd like an emperor. But the competition is insane. People hold these positions until they die. Your value is turning a game into an historical event, creating legends. If the result was bought, could you yell with passion, knowing you are deceiving the fans? Fact: Michael Buffer trademarked. Let's get ready to rumble, earning $400 million from sports arenas. We rise to the Olympus of world fame. Level 7. Game show and late night host. You are a national star. You host late night talk shows or Wheel of Fortune. Your earnings skyrocket from $15 to $40 million a year. Sensorily, you are in the perfect climate of an expensive studio in Los Angeles. You have a ton of professional makeup on your face, which makes your skin feel tight. In your ear, the producer's radio constantly crackles, yelling that ratings are dropping and you urgently need to interrupt the guests. You lose your anonymity forever. Paparazzi camp out at your house. From the outside, your life seems like paradise. But your social role is being a mass therapist for the entire nation. People tune in to you at night to forget their problems and fall asleep with a smile. Final question. If you were offered a contract for $20 million a year, but the condition was to publicly mock and humiliate your show's guests for ratings, would you agree to sell your empathy? Few people know this, but teleprompters were only invented in 19... Before that, TV hosts had to memorize hour-long broadcasts by heart or tape huge cardboard cheat sheets all over the studio behind the cameras. Level 8. Global award show host. The Oscars, the Grammys, the Golden Globes. You are on top of the world. Paradoxically, the fee for hosting the Oscars is relatively small, around $15,000 according to union rates. People don't come here for the money, but for absolute global power. Sensorily, you walk onto the stage of the Dolby Theater, and you are blinded by the light of thousands of diamonds from the audience. Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio are sitting in the front row. You are being watched live by tens of millions of people across the planet. But this is walking on a minefield. If your joke is too harsh, remember Will Smith's slap? Cancel culture will destroy your career right during the commercial break. Your social value is documenting pop culture history. You set the tone for the entire decade. If you knew a brilliant joke about a politician that would make the whole room explode with laughter, but would permanently ban you from television, would you say it live on the Oscars? Immersion detail. The longest Oscar ceremony in history lasted for hours and 23 minutes. Hosts physically have to avoid drinking water for hours before the broadcast because they literally have no time to go to the bathroom. Author's brief. You just walk the path from a barker with a megaphone on a dusty street to the master of the Oscar stage, whose jokes are quoted by the whole world. This industry teaches us that the easiest looking things usually require the heaviest behind the scenes effort. And now a few facts, so you never look at a person with a microphone the same way again. The profession of the compere, the host of variety shows, originated in Parisian cabarets at the end of the 19th century. The world's very first microphone was invented back in 1877, and it was made of carbon. Before it appeared, actors and hosts had to specifically develop their diaphragms so their voices could physically reach the back rows of the amphitheater. According to research, a host's voice with a low baritone subconsciously inspires trust in the crowd, while high-pitched voices tire listeners out much faster. And remember, when a person on stage smiles at you and yells, "How's everyone doing tonight?" it's possible their head is splitting with pain right now, but the rule of show business is unforgiving. The show must go on.